Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Ren Rashad show. We weren't going to actually talk about this, but now that there is a lot more information out there about the Luigi Mangione assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thomas, happened just this past week, I believe. Execution style. Shot him twice in the streets of New York City, in front of the big ass towers and everything. Bikes away into Central Park and then evades the police for days. He was later spotted inside of a McDonald's, of all places, and now he's been taken into custody, where there's information coming out about his time in high school.
All set?
His back injury, his friends, his family, why he might have done this. The ripple effect of that is that we're seeing mainstream approval of what he's done, the murder, the assassination of Brian Thomas. Independent of what you think about Luigi and independent of what you think about Brian, let's come at this thing with an open-minded point of view. Let's keep ourselves civil and let's just understand the facts and why it may have come to this. The reason that I'm making this video is because the content that I've been making recently has been around working revolutions, the worker revolution, the French Revolution, the economic slavery of the middle class. These are topics that I'm generally interested in, and I think that this assassination has everything to do with what we've been talking about lately, so that's why I'm making this video. As we know, he has back pain, but why kill the CEO? Why not kill just an average employee or his case manager, for example, the person that was directly related to his case? Because you and I both know that Brian wasn't directly involved in Luigi's case. In his mentality, in his mental state at the time, he was trying to send a message, a top-down message to corporate America, to greed, to wealth inequality. And what we've seen from this message is that millions of people online are defending his actions, and I'm kind of interested or intrigued by this. Now, personally, I don't think Luigi is a hero, but I don't think he's a villain either. I think he's just one man that was pushed to the edge, and like the metaphor we used in our last video, a lion, a Brian in his life as a CEO is a lion, right? He consumes others, he lives as a king, he makes multi-millions every year. Now, that doesn't condone a bison like Luigi to murder Brian, but we can kind of see how this could have happened. It doesn't take rocket scientists to realize that, hey, bisons are being killed left and right, and it only takes a few of them to turn around to really fight back, and we can kind of see that happening right away. But our society is built in a way where we don't really engage in that type of assassination / murder type behavior unless it's sanctioned by the government, and therefore it's war, and therefore it's not murder. So it's kind of like a neat loophole there. We can say for certain that violence as a means of communication is quite effective. We could see this in Journey, the civil rights path in America, between two individuals. Let's take Martin Luther King Jr. and compare him to Malcolm X. We see that MLK, he used the human spirit, he used protest, he used everything in his disposal to gather as many people into his cause and to head to the streets and to become undeniable by being loud and by being there. Whereas Malcolm X didn't really believe in that. He believed that violence is justified in certain cases, and he, the militia, Black Panthers.
We use the Black Panther as our symbol because of the nature of a panther. A panther doesn't strike anyone, but when he's assailed upon, that he'll back up first. But if the aggressor continues, then he'll strike out.
So they had polarizing viewpoints there. And we can see that some people like Malcolm X's style, some people don't. Some people prefer MLK. They both lead to the same kind of end goal. It's just how you get there. In this case, Luigi wasn't really prepared for being either, but he was more on Malcolm X's side, where he's basically saying, my back's so against the wall here, violence is the only method of communication that will be heard. What you're seeing is that there are millions of people online taking his actions and turning them into heroic actions. I don't even think he believes he's a hero. He's just really highlighting something that's going on in America and the rest of the world, that there's greed. There's human greed involved, and there's a lot of suffering. And we are in midst of a craving. People are craving for a revolution to happen. And these are the inklings of revolution, when CEOs and oligarchs are held accountable by the people in oftentimes violent ways. So independent of what you really think of him, that's kind of my understanding of how he got to where he did. You know, it is quite extreme, and I don't really condone murder, but you can kind of see evidence as to why he believed that was the only form of communication. And don't get me wrong, I think America, Canada, every nation also believes in murder and violence as well. Otherwise, why would war be a thing? Why don't they just talk to Russia or China or Iran? So when the media kind of tells people not to portray Luigi as a hero, what they're really saying is that they don't want any more vigilantes. They don't want any more CEOs being afraid or leaving the country. The economic kind of strife that may bring about, like a civil war style. They don't want to incite that kind of violence, because that disruption would change money into different people's pockets, power into different people's hands. They just don't want that to happen. They'd rather the status quo exist as the status quo. So I guess, what can we really learn from this? I'm not sure how I think, honestly. I felt the anger before of, being a working class citizen, just scraping by just enough to survive, but not enough to thrive or to, build something for myself. I'm in this perpetual state of being trapped in credit and debt and just paying off bills and never being able to own something, while there are millionaires and billionaires out there taking advantage of people left and right and center, because people have got to lose for people to win. I've been kind of angry about that too in the past. And not only that, but like, if I had chronic pain or something like that, and the inability to provide for myself at that point would even exacerbate that kind of anger towards the system. So I can definitely I can relate to someone that would resort to violence. But I have never owned a gun, I've never really even held a gun. I don't think I would ever really get to that point, because you could call me a coward, I guess, but it's also, I'm more on the MLK side of things. I hope that the people watching, instead of inciting violence, incite kind of civil ways of creating change, and not really to just go to bed and forget about this, or kind of continue going through life as if nothing were to happen, and because nothing would then change. So for change to happen, it's got to be loud, it's got to be present. MLK was, protesting every single day with thousands of people, taking to the streets. And you don't see that kind of organization amongst people, especially online, because people online just want to sit down and be keyboard warriors and keyboard revolutionaries, But to actually cause a revolution, you have to go outside and, organize with other people and have a clear vision and focused on what you want change and how you want that change to come about. So if you were to take away anything from this video, I guess I do see how someone could get to that point. It's not crazy to think that someone would, resort to violence because of this level of injustice that's happening. And for the media to call upon people online to stop hero-fying him. So then why don't they start vilifying the corporations that take advantage of the people to lead them to such extremes? Why don't they just tackle the root problem? Instead, I don't think they are interested in that. They just are interested in maintaining peace and maintaining the status quo. So that's my little tidbit of, I guess, the Luigi Mangione and Brian Thomas assassination. And I guess what you're going to see now, we're in the fork in the road, and we have a choice to move ahead with this movement by inciting violence, by making CEOs scared wherever they are, by having copycats, or we can take this kind of attention on the healthcare injustice, the system that exists today. We can break it down, and we can work as a collective and protest and use all of our civil liberties and civil rights to kind of create this change in that way. These are the only two options that we really have. These are the two pills, and you have to select one. Which one will you select? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. That helps me a lot. Until next time.